Hello everyone, it's Julie Hedges and welcome to Monday Metta Live on the Tarot Journey. I know this is coming to you pretty late, but I was busy getting some things done, and I wanted to make sure that I had everything in place so that I could devote my attention to Monday Metta. So thank you for being here with me. And Metta, of course, is all about loving kindness. And so that's what Monday Metta on the Tarot Journey is all about, where we pull together once a week. And this is just a short Monday Metta report. And I wanted to talk about retrograde respect. Retrograde respect. So what do I mean here? Well, this week we are all going to be experiencing the Mercury Retrograde, which happens 3 or 4 times every single year. So it's nothing new. It's kind of like clockwork. Mercury is our fastest moving planet. It goes around the sun in just 88 days, whereas it takes our Earth 365 days to go around. So in those times where Mercury is lapping us, going much faster around than we are, it appears that in the sky he is going backwards. Although he is not, it just appears that way from our vantage point. And so we call that the retrograde time frame. Now, the ancients always thought that the retrogrades were periods of deep introspection. And so modern Western astrologers specifically also think of this spiritually as a time to go within. Instead of spending all our mental energy pushing out and getting our ideas out, but just take a moment, take a breather to stop, turn inward. And that's what Mercury retrograde is all about. So this time Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Leo. Now, it was retrograde in May, and then we're kind of heading into the summer, but now he's going retrograde in the sign of Leo. So what does that mean? What does that mean for us on a spiritual level? I know you've heard stories about what the Mercury retrograde does to our vehicles, our modes of communication, our transportation, our communication, understanding. And those are all some ideas that have been perpetuated. And yes, we can kind of see some of that evidence in our own lives, where you say green and the other person hears blue, or vice versa. Or you say soap and the other person hears cereal. Whatever it is. Those communication misfires, because honestly, everyone's minds are turned inward. And so how that manifests for you is different than how it manifests for me. So just a note there. But Mercury is going to station retrograde. And so what that simply means is that right now he's slowing down. You can't see my hand. So he's slowing down and he's going to stop. It's going to appear from our vantage point. He doesn't really stop. Now, I want to make sure I say that. But it's going to appear that he stops and then turns around. So that's what they mean by station retrograde. So stop and turn on his heels. Kind of like they do in the military. You stop and about face, right? So that's what's going to happen on the 26th. So just a few days from now. So he's kind of slowing down. He's going to stop and turn around. So station retrograde. And then he's going to march back the other way as it appears from our vantage point. And then on August 19th, he's going to stop again and about face and then go forward again. And so all of this movement of Mercury, the planet of communication, and also craftsmanship. So if you have a craft or a skill, a skilled laborer, also rules that as well. So all of this action of going inside happens in the sign of Leo. Leo is known as the Sun King or the Lion King. Leo is the lion that rules the heart. And it's very well known, especially in Chinese medicine. In Chinese medicine, that the heart has its own nerve centers that function kind of like a brain. So our heart has its own brain. So this period of Mercury retrograde is all about focusing on the brain and our heart. Leo rules the heart. So your heart center, your high heart, your physical heart, your emotional heart, all of those things about the heart. So if you need to get a checkup of your physical heart, if you need to check in with your emotional heart, if you need to kind of prioritize in your high heart, this is a great time to do that. This is a great time to do that. It's all about the heart, all about the heart wisdom. And I'm going to say at this time, speak well to your heart. Mercury is about speech, about communication, about thought, about vision and dreaming in your local environment. So your own physical vehicle here. So speak kindly and speak well to your heart. That's what this time is all about. So from July the 26th, so just a few days from now, so on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think it is. Yeah. Thursday. So it would be station retrograde. So stop and about face and start marching back. Spending all of this time in the sign of Leo to get us to think about our hearts and to reflect. So all of these words that go with retrograde are the RE words, the re words: review, revise, reform, refine, refocus, re-examine, recapitulate, reaffirm. Any RE word you can think of is a word for retrograde. And you can combine that with of the heart. So refine in the heart. Reform in the heart or of the heart. Refocus on the heart. So think along those lines. And you might want to spend time in your personal journal. If you have a tarot journey journal that you are keeping for your particular path, your sacred path that you are on, you might want to spend some time journaling about how you are rethinking, refocusing, retuning, realigning in your heart for these 3 weeks. So July the 26th through August the 19th, when he will stop and about face and start marching forward again. Now, one thing I also want to let you know about the retrograde. So there's the time when he's going forward and he stops and turns around and goes the other way. And then he stops and turns around and goes forward again. And he has to go back to where he started. That's called the shadow period. So even though this 3 weeks is about pulling in and focusing in, when he turns around and starts marching forward again, there is the integration time. The integration time for him to take that long to get back to where he was when he first turned around. So for 3 weeks, you're going to be focusing in on your heart. And then for the next 3 weeks during this shadow period, it's time to integrate those things that you've found, those things that you want to retool, revisit, re-examine, release. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, all of those things. Now, I love the stars and the planets as teachers, because so often as I've been on this path and doing my own work, because, you know, I got to do my own work just like everybody else does. You can't make this stuff up. How it really correlates to life events, the things that our soul says, hey, here's a lesson for you. How do you want to work this? And we always have that choice. We always have the choice to look in our hearts and to refine and refocus and refuel. That's a good one. Refuel. And reignite. Reignite the fire of your heart. So we have those opportunities all of the time. And here's another one coming up with the Mercury retrograde. Remember to breathe. Breathe in your heart. And I would encourage you to try the Metta prayer on a daily basis. Now, somebody has asked me about, well, this Metta prayer, you say it for yourself, and then you say it for somebody else, and then you say it for all beings. Well, I find it easier, this person is saying me, I find it easier to say it for all beings. Much easier than I find saying it for myself. And I can understand that. I can understand that because we tend to be our harshest critic, our most, because we live with ourselves every day, right? We know what kind of monstrous thoughts we can think of, and ways that we think that we didn't do something with grace and ease and love like we could have, and how we barked at our spouse, or we spoke harshly to the dog, or something along those lines, got impatient with the kids. So it is harder to say that for ourselves than for all beings. So in this time of the Mercury retrograde, I would challenge you and invite you to say the Metta prayer. And if it is challenging for you to put yourself in there, then start with saying all beings, and then say you, and then say I, and see how that feels. And I would ask you to do that every day, every morning, when you're shaving, when you're brushing your teeth. So it's kind of hard to say it out loud when you're brushing your teeth, I understand, or in the shower, when you're doing your morning routine or your evening routine. Maybe you're washing off your makeup, or you're brushing your teeth again, or you're fixing dinner, to pray the Metta prayer. It takes probably 10 to 15 seconds to say. But if you take a deep breath and you say the Metta prayer and see how it resonates in your heart. So let's say that together. Let's breathe in, putting our focus in our heart center. And we'll begin with out there and then bring it in and finish with ourselves, okay? May all beings be at peace. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free. May you be at peace. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be free. May I be at peace. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I be free. See how that feels in your heart. And breathe it in. And amen, amen, and amen. So take this opportunity to say, may the peace that surpasses all human understanding be with each and every one of you. Thank you for joining me tonight for Monday Metta Live. Om Shanti and good night.